Well, Clarksville firefighters were called to battle a blaze at the old ice pit building this weekend. They shared some photos taken at the scene of the fire on their Facebook page. They say the call came in Saturday night, and firefighters spent around 14 hours battling the fire. Several pallets of compressed cardboard were involved, and as of yesterday afternoon, the department says the fire was still smoldering and producing smoke, but it's now under control and no injuries were reported. Well, an Arkansas man will serve 25 years in federal prison for his role in a meth conspiracy connection to a white supremacist gang. Troy Lodehold of Russellville supplied meth to members of the New Orion Empire, or NAE. Investigators say he used a restaurant account where his brother worked to move drugs from California to Arkansas. Lodehold pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute meth. This case is part of a larger operation to the dirt targeting the NAE. The investigation began in 2016, and prosecutors have charged more than 50 people with racketeering, violent crimes, and drug and gun offenses. After two deadly bear attacks this year, something the state hasn't seen in more than a century, wildlife experts are working to answer a lot of questions. Now, one thing they can confirm, the bear population continues to grow. While bears may seem harmless, experts remind hikers and campers that they are wild animals, especially as a holiday season brings more bear activity. Bears are needed to help the environment, spreading plants and supporting other wildlife, even as humans move into their habitats. So before you hit the trails or go camping, experts advise carrying bear spray for safety.
It's very effective. There's a lot of studies out there about how effective bear spray is, and especially for black bears. It's a good tool to have when you're out in bear country for sure.
Another way to keep bears away while out in the wild is to keep food away from your campsite, travel with others, and make noise. Simple steps that help prevent the already rare chance of a dangerous encounter. Arkansas education officials have released new proposed rules for the state's education freedom accounts. One proposal would block families from using EFA funds for team sports, and public comments on that change start today. The most debated change would prohibit families from spending EF money on club sports, including equipment, dues, and travel. Some board members say that they were not briefed on the sports restriction before the draft was released, and lawmakers who helped craft the program argue the limitation may go beyond what they intended. Education officials say the updates are designed to tighten oversight as enrollment grows past 44,000 students. Comments are being accepted through December 16th. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders has set a new day for the special election to fill the District 26 seat in the state Senate. The new dates will be January 6th for a primary, then March 3rd for a special election. A primary runoff will also happen on the first Tuesday of February if it's needed. And that change comes after the state Supreme Court ruled the governor had to change the date, saying the original June election date was too long to go without elected representation. Governor Sanders says her office still plans to challenge this decision. You can follow any updates on the appeal as they come into our newsroom on our website, 5newsonline.com. In Maysville, Oklahoma, the Volunteer Fire Department is coming together in support of one of their own after one of their volunteers was involved in a serious motorcycle wreck. Colby Amos, who was on his way to EMT school, suffered severe injuries in the crash and is now left in critical condition. Colby joined the department as a junior firefighter a year ago, and the chief says when one person is hurt, it's felt by the whole town.
Everybody knows about it. We stand together, and there's nothing like it. You can't get that in a big city.
He says the department is hosting a chili dinner on November 22nd at the Maysville Firehouse, with all donations going to Colby. Starting today, Samaritan's Purse is kicking off its annual collection for Operation Christmas Child, gathering shoeboxes filled with gifts to send to children around the world. These shoeboxes, filled with toys, school supplies, and hygiene items, are donated, packed, and shipped to children in need across the globe, many of whom have never received a gift before. Samaritan's Purse says last year, families in Northwest Arkansas packed more than 24,000 boxes, and this year they're aiming to top 25,000. The organization says anyone can pack a shoebox, and it's a simple, meaningful way to teach children about giving back.
And so we're excited. We're anxious to see how it's going to change lives, because every year it's doing that. I've seen everything that could really help a child in each one of these shoe boxes, and really the imagination's there. You just begin to pick and think about this child that you're going to pack that shoebox for. It will make a difference.
Now, some Northwest Arkansas drop-off locations are listed right here, including Phillips Chapel Church in Springdale and Bella Vista Baptist Church. In the River Valley, you can drop shoe boxes off at Central Christian Church in Fort Smith, First Baptist Church in Ozark, and Parkview Baptist Church in Boonville. Collection goes through November 24th. Well, President Trump appears to be reversing his stance on the Epstein files just as the House is poised to vote on it as early as tomorrow. Natalie Brand reports.
Even as President Trump continues to call it a Democratic hoax,
they just keep bringing that up to deflect from the tremendous success of the Trump administration.
He's now telling House Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files in a social media post late Sunday night saying Republicans have nothing to hide and it's time to move on.
Let's rip the Band-Aid off and get it done.
A growing number of House Republicans are now signaling support for the resolution to compel the Department of Justice to release all documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Kentucky Republican Thomas Massey and California Democrat Ro Khanna led the bipartisan effort to force the vote, which is expected as early as tomorrow.
I'd rather he release all these files. Someone was saying that his numbers would go up. I don't care if he gets the political win. It's not about Donald Trump. I don't even know how involved Trump was. There are a lot of other people who are involved who have to be held accountable.
It's still unclear whether the Senate takes up the measure, and it would need a signature from the president, who's also calling for a new investigation.
On Friday, President Trump asked the DOJ to look into alleged Epstein ties to prominent Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton, as well as major financial institutions. Congressman Massey questioned the intent of the probe.
This might be a big smokescreen, these investigations, to open a bunch of them as a last-ditch effort to prevent the release of the Epstein files.
The president dismissed Massey's concerns and criticized him. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the DOJ will pursue the matter with urgency and integrity. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The U.S. military buildup near Venezuela is accelerating. The world's largest aircraft carrier is now in the Caribbean, and President Trump is signaling possible talks with Nicolas Maduro. The administration is also preparing to label the Cartel de los Soles a foreign terrorist group. Pentagon confirms another boat strike killed 3 people, and the arrival of the USS Gerald R. Ford marks a major escalation. Military activity is surging across the region as transport planes move in. Officials still call it a drug interdiction mission, but the growing firepower gives the U.S. broad options if tensions rise. Federal immigration raids in Charlotte over the weekend sparked protests and confusion after dozens were detained in Operation Charlotte's Web. Federal agents swept job sites and shopping centers across Charlotte, arresting 81 people in a single day. During the operation, DHS says a U.S. citizen drove a van into law enforcement vehicles, injuring an officer before being arrested. The raids triggered protests in a city where nearly 1 in 5 residents is foreign-born. Some families say that they're now afraid to leave home as federal officials post photos of those detained, even as others insist they were taken despite having legal status.
A lot of friends and family and acquaintances who say that they're not going out, they're having their kids who are citizens go and pick up their clothes and food for them.
Local leaders say federal agencies are providing little information and warn more raids could follow. Documents obtained by CBS News show New Orleans may be the next target.